my Lord. The light is going down and the weekend's here. Save my soul. I can feel it coming, troubles in the air. Oh my Lord, the light is going down and the weekend's here. Save my soul. Who's on, baby? Who's on, baby?
Happy Friday, you guys. And yes, I am wearing a Snapchat filter. I am trying to show you what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be having your ass on the couch at your house, unless you have to go into work. And you are supposed to, when you go out, use a mask. Wash your hands. Some of us are doing that. A lot of us are, because we are flattening the curve of this COVID-19. Good job. For those of you who are not, shame on you forever. Some of us would like to be out of our homes before the end of the summer. So for those of you who are participating and doing what the Lord Jesus wants you to do and what Caesar has asked us to do, the government, then good for you. Thank you. And we are flattening that curve. But for those of you who are not, shame on you forever. And I hope you don't get any vacations for the next 6 to 9 years. Period. Yes, this is another Snapchat filter because I missed Easter with you guys last week. But I wanted to give you guys a break and let you spend time with your families as much as you could during this whole thing. And speaking of that, let's talk about quarantine. I know nobody wants to, but you need to know where that term comes from. Quarantine comes from the Venetian dialect of Italian, which is quarantana giorni. Quarantana giorni. And what that means is 40 days. And where that comes from is Venice. The Venetian officials back in the day would make ships coming into harbor stay off the coast for 40 days to make sure that no one was going to be bringing in a plague into the city of Venice. And that those plagues were thought to come from the rats on board, those nasty rats like bubonic plague. So the Venetian officials are like, no, you can come in here after you've proven that you're not sick and going to bring us anything, and we're giving you 40 days. Quarantana giorni equals quarantine. You're welcome. I love etymology. But so we missed Easter together. I hope everyone tried to have a good one, even though we were, social distancing, if we were doing what we were supposed to anyway. But so I know a lot of us are feeling landlocked and we have cabin fever. So today our Friyay factoids, because we are going back to regularly scheduled programming as much as possible, are going to be Friyay factoids from around the world. And we're going to get started right now.
So this next factoid and this filter go together so well. I've been called a lot of things as far as being ditzy or, airheaded or whatever. But this lady right here should probably be the queen of ditzy. Because in 2014, a lady who was on vacation in Iceland went missing. She was recovered when she found herself in the search party. What does that even mean? She's like walking around searching with everybody else. She like gets on the bandwagon, I guess. And she's like, who are we looking for? And they turn around and they look at, we're looking for you! Hey! Oh my God. Queen of the Ditses. That happened. Iceland. Oh my, this filter is perfect. There are a lot of times that I do my little show here, and I have to do it several times to get it right, because of the little outtakes that I do are hilarious. There's some that I could never post because they're just outright outrageous. But this filter sums up this next factoid and just bloopers in general. So everybody knows when you mess up on something, it's called a blooper. And that term was coined more recently than the first term that was coined for outtakes that were bloopers, where you messed up. And those bloopers, before they were called bloopers, they were called boners. Like boners, boners. It's a true story.
So I'm going a little incognito with this filter. And that's so I can introduce the next factoid, which is crazy to me. In South Korea, they have an emergency phone number. And it's not 911, it's 113. And it's for you to call if you suspect that someone is a spy. 113, what's your emergency? My landlord's a spy. He keeps coming in here looking in my window and knocking on my door and asking me for money. Where's my rent money? It's like he knows I don't have it or something. I think he's a spy. True story. South Korea. You must have a spy problem. I don't know. That was a little crazy to me. 113, what's your emergency? I think my neighbor Norm is a spy. Every time I'm out at the pool, he's staring at me and taking pictures on his phone. Chose this filter for the next factoid because I feel like I look like maybe a Stepford wife with pinkish hair. But the rich and famous and the ultra rich really fascinate me and make me say, a lot of times. So banks, this is a factoid, have actually hired staff members known as wealth psychologists that help the ultra rich deal with the impact of having that much money. So stressful. I know several females and males alike that could be considered wealth psychologists, I guess, to help people deal with their money. They're called gold diggers. They do really well at it. But I don't think that they're employed by banks. The banker themselves, maybe. But crazy, I know. I chose this filter for these next factoids because it reminds me of my cousin Paulie Jr., who sits in his mother's basement and games 24/7, 365 and a fourth. He actually gave me these factoids, which I did fact check because you have to fact check everything he tells you. But I should have known he knew this about games. So, Sonic the Hedgehog's real name is... Ready for this? His real name is Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog. Yeah, true story. Not only that, but PlayStation 1, 2 of their games, FIFA, which is the soccer game, 2001, and Gran Turismo 2, was scratch and sniff discs. You scratch them and they smelled like stickers, back in the day. True story. The FIFA 2001 game, the disc there, when you scratched it, it smelled like a soccer field, grass. And when you scratch the Gran Turismo, which is a car game, like a car chasing game, racing game, whatever, it smelled like rubber or car tires. And I know that my cousin Paulie Jr. smelled both of them because he told me. He sniffs a lot of stuff. What else are you going to do when you're sitting in your mom's basement as a 35-year-old man? I'm just saying. But thanks for those little factoids there. Oh, he did also give me this. He's kind of a hoarder. He likes to hoard stuff. My aunt buys stuff and then he hoards it. But he told me this and it checked out. Most of the toilet paper sold for home use in France is pink in color. Pink. I I chose this filter because it had a kind of a Vegas vibe to it. And that's where this next factoid comes from. In 1980, a Las Vegas, Nevada hospital had to suspend several staff members because they were placing bets on which patients would die. Would it be Old Man River down the hall? Or would it be Big Daddy Longlegs over here in the other room? Place your bets here at the nurse's station. Come on, Sin City. I tell ya. Which leads us to our next factoids. We're going to talk about religion.
I chose this here filter and this accent here because it reminds me of an old peephole that would sit on his porch and talk to you all day about religion. So that's where these next factoids are leading us. And unlike Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, the state of Utah is much different. It's run by the Latter-day Saints, basically. Huge population there, also known as the Mormons. Now, in Utah, it is against the law to curse. That means use a curse word in the presence of a dead body. Yeah. What do they think is going to happen? Old Granddaddy Longlegs is going to sit up and say, smack the hell out of you and be like, don't say that word. Lord have mercy. I'm trying to get to the gates. The pearly gates. True story. Speaking of religion, did you know that books get shoplifted all the time? Books. Thieving books. It's a true story. And the most shoplifted book worldwide, no, it's not the Book of Mormon. It's the Holy Bible. It's a true story. Now let me tell you something. If you're so bad off you got to steal a copy of the Bible, you really probably need it. More ways than one. But if you steal it, please read it. That's all I'm saying. I had a coworker, this is a true story, he got his Bible stolen. He brought his Bible to work to, during his lunch breaks to do devotions and got it stolen. And I told him, I said, look, whoever took it really needs it.
Snapchat filters are so fun. The last thing I want to tell you is also about, stealing. You can call it what you want. It's kind of genius, but it's evil genius, sort of. But whatever worked for him. Salvador Dali, the artist, used to get out of paying for his meals and his drinks by signing his checks. Instead of with his signature, he would draw on there, rendering those checks uncashable because they were considered works of art. That's a true story. Thrifty little guy there. So, we've been around the world today. We've heard about dogs, cats, Iceland, people that are lost looking for themselves, and people stealing and, people who need to read the Bible and people betting on death. I mean, we've covered everything.
Oh, and before I forget, my Aunt Marjorie, that actually looks almost exactly like this filter, has a birthday this weekend. So, happy birthday, Aunt Marjorie. I love you. You're famous. You're famous because they even made a Snapchat filter for you. You guys have a great weekend. If you see my Aunt Marjorie, give her a hug. Well, not really. Stay back. 6 feet at least. Let's flatten this curve. Let's get out to the beaches. Let's open the beaches for summer. Bye.